Okay, it's a framework for pitching ideas that raises the likelihood that people will buy into it. It doesn't mean that people will buy into the idea all the time. It just means that the potential or the likelihood of them buying into it is raised. Now, it's particularly important in situations where you don't have formal control over people, and that's probably the majority of the time. Okay, so where it fits is somewhere in this domain here. If I were to draw a light bulb which represents an idea, okay, we've got this idea that we want to present to people, and what we want to get is some sort of action or behaviour change at the end of it. Now, we can follow one of two paths, and the paths we follow to get that action depend upon circumstances. The one that we can fall back to very easily, and I think most people do in the way that they present ideas within organisations, relies very much on the formal structure of the organisation, and that's really where we dictate. That's where we focus on the action and say, here's the action, go and do it. How often does that occur? A lot, doesn't it? Right, it's probably it's the natural fallback. So we're very good at being able to pass on an activity, but that kind of assumes that the person has no choice about the activity. How often do people have choice? Probably most of the time. So if they have choice, they can go yes or no, then what we've got to do is we've got to pitch it. It's meant to be a baseball, right? We've got to pitch that idea in a way that they're more likely to say yes than no. Does that make sense? So it's that pitching framework. Now, pitch is, I would define it as any time where you're presenting an idea in order to get an action or behaviour from different people, and they have a choice about whether or not they give you that behaviour. Does that make sense? So in those circumstances, you have to pitch. As an independent, a small to medium enterprise, most of our work is pitching. Now, I know with my kids, I have a 28-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter. Every time I try to get an activity, guess what I've got to do? What have I got to do? I've got to pitch it. Yeah, I can't tell them what to do, but I've got to pitch the idea in such a way that they're kind of more willing, motivated in doing it. Does that make sense?